पवित्रवतु।
Good afternoon everyone. Today we are going to discuss qualitative properties of dilute solutions. So I will start from the last term, that is solutions. What are solutions? Solution is a homogeneous phase which contains more than one component. The component which constitutes the larger proportion of the solution is known as solvent, and the lesser proportion is known as the solute. Or we can say that the solution is a homogeneous mixture of solvent and solute. Now, the amount of solute and solvent present in the solution we can express by the concentration of solutions. Now, how do we express the concentration of solutions? Many ways. Molality. What is molality? Number of moles of the solute in a given weight of the solvent, or otherwise molality, number of moles of the solute in given volume of the solution. Or you can say that simply the number of moles of the solute, that is N2, or number of moles of the solvent, that is N1. Otherwise, X1 and X2. What is X1? It is the mole fraction of the solvent, or X2 is the mole fraction of the solute. Or what is X1? N1 upon N1 plus N2, or same way X2 is N2 upon N1 plus N2. Now next we are going to dilute solutions. So we discussed the concentration of solutions. Now what about the dilute solutions? Dilute solution, simply you know, in that the concentration of the solute will be relatively small or less. Or otherwise we can say that N2, what is N2? Number of moles of the solute, it is much lesser than the number of moles of the solvent. Or it is X2 will be, X2 now you know, it is much less than the X1. Okay. Now since in dilute solution, as you know, now the concentration of the solute will be very less. So interaction of the solutes will be negligible. So there won't be any interaction between the solute molecules, or these solutions, it acts as, or it behaves ideal, or they are ideal solutions, or which obey Raoult's law. So we will come to Raoult's law afterwards. On the whole, now all the dilute solutions which exhibit qualitative properties. Now we are coming to our actual topic, qualitative properties of dilute solutions. Now what are qualitative properties? Now qualitative properties of dilute solutions are what? Which depend only on the number of solute molecules, and importantly what? Not on the chemical nature or type of the solute or solvent molecule present. You may be knowing the qualitative properties of dilute solution. For are they are relative lowering of vapor pressure, elevation in boiling point, depression in freezing point, and osmotic pressure of solution. And while considering these qualitative properties, we have to assume that our solute is non-volatile and solvent is volatile. So today we will be discussing the first two, relative lowering of vapor pressure and elevation in boiling point. So first we will go to relative lowering of vapor pressure. Okay. Now we are going to make the solution. What is the solution? We are going to add a non-volatile solute into the solvent. So when a non-volatile solute is added to the solvent, the vapor pressure of the solvent is lowered. Or we can say that the solution has a vapor pressure less than the vapor pressure of the pure solvent. Okay, and this is known as lowering of vapor pressure. Now, this quantitative relation between the lowering of vapor pressure and the concentration of solution can be explained using Raoult's law. Okay, all of you know what is Raoult's law? What is Raoult's law? The vapor pressure of a constituent of a liquid solution is the product of its mole fraction and its vapor pressure in its pure state. That is Raoult's law. You can express it as P is equal to x1 into P0. What is x1? It is the mole fraction of the solvent. P0, that is vapor pressure of the pure solvent. P is the vapor pressure of the solvent in the solution. So Raoult's law, P is equal to x1 into P0. Let that be the equation number 1. Now this x1, that is the maximum value of x1. x1 is, it is 1, but in the solution always this x1 will be less than 1. So you know that this right hand side, it will be less than 1. That means P0, P will be always less than P0. Okay. Now the difference in the vapor pressure, that means difference between the vapor pressure of the solvent and vapor pressure of the solution, that is lowering of vapor pressure, that you can write it as delta P. What is delta P? Delta P is equal to P0 minus P. Now this P, you can write it as P0 minus x1 P0. Now take the P0 outside the bracket, it will be 1 minus x1. And in a solution, as you know, x1 plus x2, which is equal to 1. That is sum of the mole fractions of solute and solvent in a solution is equal to 1. So what is x2? x2 is equal to 1 minus x1. That you can substitute in the first equation. So what will happen? So you get delta P, which is equal to P0 into x2. Okay. Now what you are getting? You are getting lowering of vapor pressure. It depends upon vapor pressure of the pure solvent and also mole fraction of the solute. Okay. And what is our aim? Our aim is to find out the relative lowering of vapor pressure. Okay, so we got lowering of vapor pressure, but what is relative lowering of vapor pressure? So what is relative lowering of vapor pressure? It is the ratio of, relative lowering is the ratio of lowering of vapor pressure and vapor pressure of the pure solvent. So now you know what is delta P. Delta P is P0 into x2 upon P0, which is equal to x2. Okay. And now what is the conclusion? Relative lowering of vapor pressure is equal to mole fraction of the solute. Or we can say that relative lowering of vapor pressure, it depends upon the depends only on the mole fraction of the solute. So relative lowering of vapor pressure is a colligative property. Okay. Why it is a colligative property? Because relative lowering of vapor pressure depends only on the mole fraction of the solute, and it is independent on the chemical nature or type of the solvent or solute. So you can see here that lowering of vapor pressure is not a colligative property because it depends on P0, that is vapor pressure of the pure solvent and mole fraction of the solute. But relative lowering is a colligative property because it depends only on the mole fraction of the solute. So relative lowering of vapor pressure, independent of the nature of solvent or solute, depends only on the amount of solute in the solution and is a colligative property. So we proved that lowering of vapor pressure is a colligative property. So now we will go to the next one. What is that? Elevation in boiling point. Now what is a boiling point of a liquid? It's written here, but still all of you know. What is boiling point of a liquid? The temperature at which the vapor pressure of the liquid becomes equal to the atmospheric pressure. Now we are going to relate it to the lowering of vapor pressure. Okay. Already we have seen that we are going to add a non-volatile solute into our solvent, and because of that the solution vapor pressure will be decreases, or it will be lower than the pure solvent. Okay. Or otherwise we can say that the temperature at which the solution boils or solution attains the vapor pressure, solution attains the atmospheric pressure will be higher than the temperature at which the pure solvent attains the atmospheric pressure. Did you understand? So that means here the boiling point is raised. Okay. Now what is elevation in boiling point? It is the difference between boiling points of the solution and the boiling point of the solvent. It is the boiling point elevation. Okay, hope you understood what is elevation in boiling point. Now, boiling point elevation can be interpreted using this diagram. Vapor pressure is plotted along the y-axis and temperature along the x-axis. Now we have two curves. First curve is AP, that is the vapor pressure of solvent is plotted as a function of temperature, and you have CD, the curve, that is the vapor pressure curve of the solution. And here in this you can see that the curve CD, that is the vapor pressure curve of the solution, it always lies below to AP. That means the solvent. Why? Because at all temperatures, vapor pressure of the solution will be lower than the vapor pressure of the solvent. Okay. Now the relation between this elevation in boiling point and the concentration of the solution we can get from Clausius-Clapeyron equation and Raoult's law. And you can see here that at a given pressure, for example P0, the solvent and the solution, the solvent boils at T0, lower temperature, but same vapor pressure solution boils at higher temperature, that is T. And the difference we are saying that it is delta TB, that is what? Elevation in boiling point. So what is delta TB? So delta TB, which is equal to T minus T0. Let this be equation number 5 because we discussed many other equations. Now the Closius-Clapeyron equation and Raoult's law to find the relation between elevation in boiling point and concentration of the solution. Raoult's law already we have seen. Now what is Closius-Clapeyron equation? It is what? ln P2 upon P1 which is equal to delta Hp upon R 1 upon T1 minus 1 upon T2. Let this be equation number 6. Okay, and in this equation P1 and P2 initial pressure and final pressure, T1 and T2 initial temperature and final temperature, delta Hp heat of vaporization, and R is the gas constant. Now consider the point that is G and F. We are going to see the 2 points. Why we are seeing these 2 points? Because they lie on the same curve. Which curve? CD. Which is that CD curve? The CD curve is the vapor pressure curve of the solution. Okay. So you have 2 points G and F. So consider G. What is G? The point G is T0P and F is TB0. Okay. Now this is T1, this is P1, this is T2, this is P2. Okay, now we are going to modify our Closius-Clapeyron equation. Now it will be what? ln P2 will be P0 divided by P which is equal to delta Hv upon R 1 upon T0 minus 1 upon T. I am just going to take the LCM. So it will be delta Hv upon R T minus T0 upon T into T0. Let this be equation number 7. Now from our equation 1 or 5 you can see that T minus T0 is delta T, and we are discussing the dilute solutions. Dilute solution means the amount of solute will be very less. So for dilute solution, this T and T0 will be almost same. T and T0 will be almost same. So T which is almost equal to T0, and from our equation 5 that is delta Tb which is equal to T minus T0. So these two we are going to apply in equation number 7. So our equation number 7 will be ln P0 upon P which is equal to delta Hv upon R. Here it will be delta Tb upon T0 square. So let this be equation number 8. Okay. Now we are going to, so equation number 8 it is. Now we have to see the Raoult's law. Okay. Raoult's law already you have seen. So what is Raoult's law? Raoult's law is P which is equal to x1 into P0. P is the vapor pressure of the solvent in the solution, x1 is the mole fraction of the solvent, and P0 is the vapor pressure of the pure solvent. Now what is P upon P0? P upon P0 would be x1. I'm going to write it directly, or as you know that x1 plus x2 is 1, or x1 is equal to 1 minus x2. So I'm going to write it, which is equal to 1 minus x2. Okay. Now take log on both the sides. So when you take log on both the sides, it becomes ln P upon P0, which is equal to ln 1 minus x2. Okay. Now if you see equation number 8, here what it does, it is ln P0 upon P, and here what we got ln P upon P0. So we will just change it. So it will be ln P0 upon P. Then what about right hand side? It will be minus ln 1 minus x2. Okay. So let this be equation number 9. Now this equation number 9, we are going to substitute in equation number 8. Now equation number 8 will become minus ln 1 minus x2, which is equal to delta hv upon r into delta tb t0 square. So for dilute solution, say mathematical expression that you need not have to know. For dilute solution, minus ln 1 minus x, which is equal to minus x. ln 1 minus x, which is equal to minus x. So when you apply this is our equation number 10, no? Yes. So now I am reading. So it's 10. So minus x, when you substitute here, that minus and this minus, so it becomes plus. So what we are getting? We are getting x2. So x2 is equal to delta hv upon r into delta tb upon t0 square. Okay. Let this be equation number 11. So now is the time to get the expression for delta Tb. You forgot delta Tb is what? Elevation in boiling point. Now what is delta Tb? Just rearrange it, so it will be delta Tb, which is equal to r upon r t0 square upon delta hb into x2. So this will be our equation number 12. Okay. Now if you see, what is T0? It is the temperature at which pure solvent boils. R is the gas constant. Delta Hv, that is heat of vaporization per mole of the pure solvent, and X2, it is the mole fraction of the solute. For a given solvent, T0 and delta Hv, they are constants, and this is again a constant. So you know that the whole this part is constant. What it means? Delta Tb is directly proportional to X2. What is that? The mole fraction of the solute. So elevation in boiling point is a qualitative property. Okay. Now we have seen now the relative lowering of vapor pressure and elevation in boiling point. They are qualitative properties, or we proved that they are qualitative properties. Now the main application or the most important application of equation number 12 is that we can find out the molecular weights of the dissolved substances, or otherwise dissolved substances means molecular weights of the solids. For that, we need an alternative form of this equation. Okay, so we are going to modify it. We get an expression, and from that we will find out the molecular weight of the solid. So how we can modify this equation? How to get an alternative form of equation 12? Okay. So what is N1? All of you know. It is number of moles of solvent, and N2 same way, number of moles of solid. Okay. Now what is X2? X2 is N2 upon N1 plus N2. And we are considering dilute solutions, and already we have seen that in dilute solutions N2 is much lesser than N1. So since N2 is much lesser than N1, we can write it like this, which is equal to N2 upon N. Okay, and this we are going to substitute in equation number 12. So what will happen to equation number 12? So it will be delta TB, which is equal to R T0 square upon delta HB X2. It will be N2 upon N1. Now what is N2? Weight of the solute upon molecular weight. Okay. So weight of the solute upon molecular weight of the solute. Similarly for N1 also. So I am going to write it. It will be R T0 square upon delta HB into W2 upon M2 divided by W1 upon M. Okay. Now what I am going to do is, I am going to take this M1 here. So what it will be? The equation becomes RT square divided by delta HB upon M1, which is into W2 upon M2 into W1. So what is delta TB now? Delta TB, it is RT square, T0 square. Now delta HB upon M1, I am going to write it as small l into W2 divided by M2 W1. So what is LV? It is again because we divided heat of vaporization per mole of the solvent upon divided with the molecular weight of the solvent. So it will become again heat of vaporization per gram of the solvent. Okay. So it is what? Heat of vaporization per gram of the solvent. Now here which is our equation? Let it be 13. So here you know W2 upon M2 and W1. What is W1? Weight of the solvent in grams. And what about W2 upon M2? It is M2, no? M2 means number of moles of the solute. That means W1 grams of the solvent contains W2 upon M2 moles of the solute. Okay. So W1 grams of solvent, it contains W2 upon M2 moles of soil. Okay. Or we can say that. Then what about 1000 grams of the solvent contains? W1 grams of the solvent contains W2 upon M2 moles of solute. So how much moles of solute is present in 1000 grams of the solvent? That means W1 grams contains this much moles. So 1 gram contains W2 upon M2 divided by W1. So 1000 grams means W2 upon M2 into W1 into 1000. So it will be W2 upon M2 into W1 into 1000. Okay. And what is this? This is the expression for molarity. How you will express molarity? It's small m. Okay. Now that means we got W2 which is equal to small m. Now what is m by 1000? Because in our expression it contains W2 upon M2 W1. Okay. So we will see m divided by 1000 which is equal to W2 upon M2 W1. Let this be equation number 14. Substitute equation number 14 in equation number 13. So equation number 13 now becomes delta Tp which is equal to R T0 square LP m upon 1000. Okay. Now constant, you know, because R is constant, T0 is constant, LP is again constant, 1000. So it will be Kp into m. That is delta Tp which is equal to Kp into m. What is Kp? Molar elevation constant, or otherwise it is epleoscopic constant. So these are some values of molar elevation constants or epleoscopic constants for some of the solvents. Now, how to get the unit of that epleoscopic constant? So, what is Kp? Now, Kp is equal to delta Tp upon m. Delta Tp is what? What is the unit of delta Tp? Kelvin. Molarity? Moles per kilogram. So it becomes kilogram mole inverse. So Kelvin mole inverse kilograms. Now, what's the most important application to find out what's the most important application of that molar elevation constant, that expression, to find out the molecular weights of solutes present. Okay. So we are coming to that. So already we have seen delta TB, which is equal to KB into M. Now what is M? M is W2 upon M2 into 1000 divided by 1. If you substitute in the previous equation, it will become delta TB, which is equal to Kp W2 M2 1000 W1. So from here we just get the expression for M2. So it will be what? M2 is equal to Kp W2 divided by W1 into 1000 upon delta TB. So this way you can find out the molecular weight of the unknown solvents. Okay. So what were things we discussed? We discussed elevation and boiling point, its application, isohydroscopic constant, molar elevation constant. Okay. Now we are tempted to do a problem. Okay. So this is the problem. Please read the problem. Look your answer, please. Do the problem. A solution containing 0.62 gram of an unknown solute in 50 gram of carbon tetrachloride gave a boiling point elevation of 0.65 Kelvin. If the molar elevation constant of carbon tetrachloride is 5.02 Kelvin mole inverse kilogram, calculate the molecular weight of the solute. So what all things are given? A solution containing 0.62 gram. That means W2 0.62 grams in 50 gram of carbon tetrachloride. That is W1 50 grams. In a boiling point elevation, that is what? Delta TB is equal to 0.65 Kelvin and Kb, that is molar elevation constant, that is 5.02 Kelvin mole inverse per kilogram. Expression is already on the board. We have to find out M2. M2 is equal to Kp into W2 upon W1 into 1000 upon delta Kp, delta Tp. So substitute and find out the answer. Ninety-five point 76. This is the grams per mole. So today it's over, and next class we will be seeing depression in freezing point and osmotic pressure.